Hi, everybody. Today I want to talk about a term that I call crowding out. That is when one particular activity, extracurricular activity, starts to crowd out or prevent your son or daughter from doing basically anything else. Whether it's job opportunities, leadership opportunities, working at home, academics, any number of things that are being crowded out because of one particular extracurricular activity. And that typically has been sports. Now, sometimes it's music, sometimes it's theater, sometimes it's dance. But by and large, the extracurricular activity that is the most often the culprit of crowding out is youth athletics. So if you have a son or daughter in high school or even in middle school who seems to be playing sports a lot, maybe even taking up every waking moment of your life and every dollar and every resource and every bit of energy, this might be an episode that you're interested in. Hi, everybody. I'm Phil Black. I run an online mentoring program called PrepWell Academy, where I help guide, mentor, and coach high school rising freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors to help them make smart decisions about high school, about college, about careers, and about life. Now, this I have particular interest in, having been in a lot of careers, having played sports my whole life. I played basketball at Yale University, left there, worked at Goldman Sachs for 3 years as an investment banker. Then I went into the military, was a Navy SEAL officer for 6 years. Went back to grad school at Harvard Business School, left there, became a firefighter. Then got on Shark Tank, pitched my business because I'm an entrepreneur. I started a fitness company, became a firefighter, I think, as I just said, and now run PrepWell Academy, which is an online mentoring company. In fact, right now I'm on vacation and I'm on my way to deliver a 2-day speech, 2-day presentation. I work as a human performance coach as well. And I like to take all those principles that I learn coaching and training high-end executives with all of my PrepWellers, all of the students around the country who I help with some of these decisions. And of course, their parents. So let's talk about crowding out. Now, again, has your son or daughter, have you experienced this situation where you feel like, man, every second of the day is caught up in sports? Whether it's the summer going to camps, whether it's traveling, whether it's your son or daughter coming home at 8 o'clock at night and having no time or energy to do anything else. This can be a great thing, but it can be something that can wear you out and wear your son or daughter out. So here's what I want you to do, and this is what I do with my PrepWellers. I find that my job and my role is to detach from the vortex, to give the parent and the child a perspective outside of this everyday rigmarole. Because mind you, I understand deeply the importance of sports. Having been a sports athlete all my life, I understand that there's the camaraderie, and there's the leadership, and there's the teamwork, and there's the commitment to sports. However, how long are you going to keep that commitment up? How long are you going to keep that level of engagement? Or is it crowding out other things? So I'll give you an example. I talk to kids all the time, particularly rising freshmen and sophomores, and they're spending all their time doing sports. That's okay. But as I pry a little bit deeper, I typically ask them this question: do you have ambitions to play sports in college? Sometimes they'll say yes, sometimes they'll say no. Sometimes they're not quite sure. Hi, Lisa. Good to see you again. I'm in your neck of the woods these days. So here's an example. I'll ask a particular student, hey, I know you've been playing soccer since the age of 3, and I know you made the all-star team at age 4, and I know you've been progressing, and the coaches say you're really good, and that you're spending every waking second of your life playing soccer, but do you feel like you're going to play soccer in college? And if they say, yes, absolutely, I want to be a Division I soccer athlete, great. That's good information to me as their coach and mentor, because then I dig deeper and I say, okay, what are you doing to try to get yourself to that Division I level? And sometimes they have a good answer, sometimes they don't have a good answer, but at least we have a benchmark. They want to be a Division I athlete. Well, in that case, they should probably be spending every waking hour of their life trying to compete and trying to get better in that sport, because that's what it's going to take. However, there's two other use cases. The one student who says, yeah, I want to play Division I soccer, and they're not really on track. They think they're on track. Maybe everybody has told them that they're on track for their whole lives. But as I dig a little bit deeper, they're not really on track. They don't have a plan. They're not really engaged in what's going on. They don't have a practice plan. They're not on the best team. But still in the back of their minds, hey, Mikey Bull, good to see you there. Thanks for joining us. In the back of their minds, they're not really ready to step to the next level. Or maybe they're just not athletically good enough, or they don't have the resources to do it, or frankly, they're just not good enough, but they're still plunging down this road, sports, 24/7. And then the last use case is somebody who says, no, I don't really think that I have what it takes to be a Division I athlete, but I'm still in the vortex, meaning I'm still doing the camps. I'm still going to every single practice. I'm still doing this. I'm still doing that. So for that latter two, the people who either think that they're going to be Division I athletes and they don't have the plan for it, or they are just realizing that they're not for it, they're not ready for this Division I step, but they're still in the vortex because they've never detached and said, what am I doing? Because oftentimes when I try to guide them and I say, hey, what are you doing for work? What are you doing for volunteer work? What are you doing for paid work? They say, oh, can't do that. I've got soccer. And I'm not picking on soccer, but I'm just using soccer as an example. You can use soccer and put any sport in there. Can't I have my soccer practice? Can't do that. Can't get a job. I've got soccer. Can't do this leadership opportunity. I've got soccer. Can't go to this outdoor activity. Got soccer. Can't go to this. The other day, this girl asked me, or I suggested to this girl that she goes to the Fleet Science Center and go to Marine Science Day. And guess what she told me? Sorry, got soccer practice. So I have to tell her, I have to call her out on this. I say, listen, person XYZ, is it better, you told me that you're interested in marine science. Is it better as you're starting to develop what you're interested in to potentially pick a college, pick a major, pick a career? Is it better for you to go to this once in a lifetime Fleet Marine Science experience, or to go to your 475th soccer practice? That's a very good question to ask. Now listen, I'm all for commitment. I'm all for the team, and you don't want to let down your teammates and your coach, but at some point, particularly if you're not going to be at the highest level of competition, at some point, please step back, step out of the vortex, and think to yourself, do I have to go to my 471st soccer practice? Or should I go to the Fleet Science one-day, all-day science experience? Should I go on this travel trip? Should I shadow this person? Should I go on an interview? Should I go visit that college? Please open your mind to considering other things. Because what I don't want to have happen, back to this crowding out, I don't want you to become a junior in high school and realize that you're not actually sure what you want to do in college. Why? Because you've spent the last 13 or 14 years focused almost exclusively on this sport. So please don't let your life be crowded out by a sport that you may not have, I don't want to say have a future in, but may not be worth spending every waking moment doing. Start to dig into what your interests are, what your passions are, what you enjoy doing, and just think for a second, can I miss this particular soccer practice? Can I miss this particular soccer tournament because I want to meet somebody, I want to visit somebody, I want to go on this unbelievable career opportunity, whatever it might be. So it's my job to bring, and mind you, the parents, I'm guilty to it myself. I went to Denver for 5 days with my 7th grader, spent a ton of money and a ton of time trying to help him figure out if he wants to be at the next level. Now, he's not quite sure if he wants to be there or not, so I'm trying to hang on as long as I can. But just think for a second. All of the money that you're spending for camps, for equipment, for club teams, for travel, for uniforms. Lord help me, the uniforms. My kids play lacrosse. Every single new tournament is a new uniform. Why? Why do they need a new uniform top every single game? I don't know. But just think about it. If you took all that money, now one option is to put it into a college fund. Wouldn't that be interesting? You'd probably have 50 or 60 grand salted away for college. Or use that money for the camp. Use that money that you're going to send them on yet another tournament. and give them some other experience, some experience out in the field, going to a National Outdoor Leadership Conference, doing something other than the sport to engage their mind, to get them excited about something else. And maybe, who knows, they might get, a light might be lit under them, or they might be inspired by something. You never quite know. Send them to a concert, send them to an art festival, send them somewhere, ideally it'd be something that they're interested in, and try to consider scaling back on the sports. I'm not saying give it up. That's hardly what I'm saying. I'm just saying, on the margin, when there's a decision between the 471st practice and some other opportunity that might give them something else going on in their brain, please consider it. Please think about it, particularly as they get into 9th and 10th grade. Now, you can run it out. You know, I'm all for running it out 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, because at that point, they don't really know what they want to do for a career. College majors, all this business, it's not really on their radar. So I would say, hey, let them run it out. 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, great. Keeps them busy, keeps them active, keeps them in shape, keeps their unit of friends intact. All that stuff is great. When they start getting into high school, 9th and 10th grade, then you got to get out of the vortex and detach from the mania. I just want to take a second here and read what Lisa's saying here. Yes, I like it. Thank you, Lisa. Lisa's saying her son didn't really want to play sports in high school. However, by sticking to that sport, man, he got some great leadership. He got some great on the extracurriculars that you write in your college application. Certainly, colleges like to see that you finished what you did. Absolutely. So I'm glad you brought this up, because the last thing I want to do is try to encourage people to quit their sport. Not in a million years. Even if they don't want to be a Division I athlete. Even if their goal is to be a Division III athlete. That's great. I love them to do that. I want them to play sports in college. However, that's why I'm saying, on the margin, not quitting the sport, on the margin, please consider thinking about other things, doing other things. Keep doing your sport. Absolutely. In fact, these days, the hard thing is, sometimes if you're not committed and you're not going to every one of these all-star games and you're not going to every one of these summer events, you're not going to make the high school team. That would be bad. That wouldn't be bad, but that would not be great. I want my sons to play high school sports. Hopefully they'll be good enough. And if you start wavering and say, hey, I'm not going to go to this practice, I'm going to skip that practice, and in fact, I'm going to take the whole season off, I'm going to wait till next season. That's not what I'm really suggesting, because as we all know, high school sports alone are very competitive. And I think, as I said earlier, the leadership and the camaraderie and the stick-to-itiveness and the perseverance, it's not all about Division I athletics. It's not just about being a professional. And if not that, then bail out. That is not what I'm suggesting. Do not pull the ripcord. The only thing I'm suggesting is to just give you a little awareness as to detach yourself and say, on the margin, this particular weekend, this particular tournament, maybe we can pull back the reins a little bit and let Johnny and let Susie explore something else. Even if it's a sleepover or it's something else, just consider a trip. Consider allowing them to skip a practice here or there, maybe skip a tournament here or there, without giving up their leadership role, without wavering on their commitment, but continuing with that commitment, but also having an awareness that there are other things. So Lisa, I thank you for that. Very important, particularly if you want to play college sports, is the perseverance and the stick-to-itiveness. However, there is an edge that we don't want you to go over, which is crowding out every other single thing in their lives. Thank you for joining me. If this discussion has been helpful, thank you for commenting. Please put other comments down below. I know this can be a controversial thing. Please put comments below. I'd love to address them. If you're not watching this live, I'll address it after the fact, if this is going to be recorded. If you're interested in PrepWell Academy, go to www.prepwellacademy.com. If you're interested in goal setting for your son or daughter, send me where your son or daughter, what age your son or daughter is in, and I will send you a custom goal setting worksheet for the summer. Help them set those goals. Some of them might be academic, some of them might be athletic, some of them might be job related, who knows. Go to prepwellacademy.com/P/goals. prepwellacademy.com/P/goals. I'll send that to you. And please share this with somebody who you think might be interested. Maybe there's someone who's maniacally doing nothing but sports, and you think that maybe they should take a little break. Maybe they should detach and have their son or daughter do something maybe a little bit different for one weekend, for one day, for one Tuesday afternoon over the summer. Maybe so. Now, if they're interested in Division I sports and they're putting all their chips on that particular goal, then great. That's probably what they're going to have to do. Please share this. Share it on your timeline. Tag somebody who you think might be interested in this. I am coming at you live every day this month. In fact, right now I'm about to get on a plane, go to do a couple presentations, but I've committed to, on my goal list, to coming at you with what I consider hot topics for parents who are trying to help their kids make their way in high school, college, career, and life. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.